Am I talking to you now because I have 20 books left to read and it is almost December? Be quiet. So today I just wanted to give you two quick reasons to abandon your reading goals. And it is kind of for me, but maybe it will help you with some of your end of the year stress because goodness knows we don't need any more of that this time of year. So I'm just gonna give you a little permission slip. You can let it go, and I'll give you, I hope, some really compelling reasons to do that. So I just finished reading the Cat Who Saved Books. Yes, there is some irony here, but I think this was exactly the book that I needed to read. It was on recommendation from a friend, and I don't think it's a spoiler. The first couple pages, the first labyrinth that the character encounters is with a person who is just obsessed with reading. He loves books. He reads so many of them. He has just like shelves and shelves of books, and people come to this person knowing that he just reads all of the books, and he's racing through them really quickly. He has this really long TBR, and he's just obsessed with the idea that there's so much knowledge in these books, and he just has to read all of them. But like, here's the thing: you're never gonna get through your TBR. There are so many books that are being released constantly that are really, really good, and there's just no way to keep up with them. There is literally more art than any of us could reasonably consume in our lifetimes, and I think that that also holds true for books. I think also when you're jumping from book to book so quickly because your TBR is just so long and you've set this goal and you have to just get through it, is that unless you specifically allow for this in your goals, there's not a lot of room for rereading. And there are books that like I really love and I want to reread because the experience of rereading it is wonderful, and I feel like I get something new from the book every time I reread it. But when I'm just like racing through and trying to get through a book a week in order to meet whatever goal that I've set for myself, I feel like there's not room to slowly savor rereading a book that I know that I already love. Another reason that that character really resonated with me was that this was a character who completely, very clearly, I think, wanted to be a person who has read instead of a person who reads. Like, this person's goals are about getting through as many books as possible, absorbing as much knowledge as possible, and appearing, having the appearance of someone who reads a lot, and is, a really prolific reader and has just absorbed so much information. And I think that there is kind of a part of me that wanted to read to kind of give that appearance, which I know sounds ridiculous, but I think even with like, I wanted to fill my shelves with books, partly because I want to be able to loan them out when I love a book. But also, I prefer reading ebooks. And so even though I'm borrowing this paperback from a friend, I actually read this book on ebook. And so I think filling up my shelves with books might be mostly a goal about like showing off and showing that I am reading a lot, which just isn't is not a good reason to read. I think with reading, it's really the process of reading that counts. It's getting the experience of reading the book, absorbing it slowly, reflecting on it. It's easy to consume a lot, and I think it's harder to take what you've consumed and make it into your own knowledge and your own opinions and form your own beliefs about what you've read, especially if it's nonfiction. And if it's fiction, then take the time to absorb the feelings and absorb the emotional intelligence and the interesting characters that you come across when you're reading, and the plots to immerse yourself in the world. And I think, if you're not taking the time to do that, if you're just racing through the book, then you're missing out on so much of the experience of reading. So, like, cry, be terrified, find a new favorite, fall in love with the characters. It's the experience, I think, that really matters here. Also, think about like why you made the goal in the first place. Like, did you just want to read more, to spend more time reading? And if that was the case, maybe you already met that goal. Maybe having the goal, gamifying reading, even if you didn't meet the specific number, helped you spend more time with books, helped you learn more, and all of the things that we just talked about. Consider whether you've already met the intention of your goal. So I think that adding that gamification of like, I'm going to read this number of books might have its purposes if it actually led you to more interesting experiences, led you to spend more time with books in general. But maybe it's not the specific number that matters here. Maybe it's that setting that goal for yourself led you to spend more time with books. Maybe you don't have to tick everything off the list in order to have had a meaningful year of reading. And lastly, I just want to say, like, don't be beholden to your past self. Maybe this isn't really a goal that you have anymore. Maybe you've had a really crazy year and you've done a bunch of other things, or maybe you've just not had time to read. And I think that that's a perfectly valid reason to abandon your reading goal. Just because you set this goal doesn't mean that it's still relevant, doesn't mean that it's even necessarily something that you still want. So anyway, I'm mostly talking to myself with this video, but maybe it can help some of you as well if you're kind of in this mad dash to finish your reading goals for the end of the year. I'm not going to be completely stopping reading. Obviously, I'm going to keep reading because I love it, but I think, I've already gotten kind of what I needed to get from the goal, and setting that specific number for myself maybe wasn't what I needed to do this year. The song that I want to share with you for this video is not at all related, but it's called 22 and Some Change by Stephen Day. If you enjoyed this video, you can subscribe here on YouTube and at the link in my description. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.